from Emmanuel Lutheran Church, and we are so glad that you are together with me today. We are now in the fellowship hall of Emmanuel Lutheran, and this is where we meet for meals, we meet for Bible studies. I'll turn around so you can see. Right now we've had worship in Wednesday nights, and so I had this set up here as an altar for us. If you look in the back wall, that's our motto: hear love, eat love, share Christ's love. On each of the tables, I'll turn it around so you can see all the tables. We have such fun in this room as we gather. On each of the tables, being that we're in Lent, I have one of these plates. And on the plate, I have a stick. And can you see those sharp, sharp thorns? And that reminds us of the sharp thorns that were on the crown that they forced Jesus to wear. And then I have a cross to remind us that Jesus dies on the cross because he loves the world so very much. And then I have a saying with a psalm reading with a rock on it. And it says, "For you are my rock and my fortress. Therefore, for your name's sake, lead me and guide me." And that was from Psalm 31, verse 3. Well, let's get started with our reading. Again, we're reading from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and yesterday when I watched it, it was backwards, but it is the Jesus Storybook Bible, and it is written by Sally Lloyd Jones, and it's illustrated by Jago. The story that we're on today is called A New Beginning, and it's Noah's Ark from Genesis chapters 6 through 9. You ready? All right, let's go. Time passed, and many people filled the earth. Everyone, everywhere, had forgotten about God and were only doing bad things all the time. God's heart was filled with pain when he saw what had happened to the world he loved. Everywhere was disease and death and destruction. All the things God hates most. Now, Noah was God's friend, which was odd in those days because no one else was. Noah listened to God. He talked to God. He just loved being with God, like you do with your best friends. Noah, God said, "Things have gone wrong. People have filled my world with hate instead of love. They are destroying themselves and each other. And my world, I must stop them. First, we'll build an ark." Do you know how to build an ark? Neither did Noah. Luckily, God knew and would show him. And so here's a picture of Noah. And here is Noah looking at the instructions on how to build an ark. Can you see all the lumber he'll need? And notice the beautiful sunny day. The beautiful sunny day. "A storm is coming," God told Noah, "but I will rescue you. I promise. I'll send you the animals to you, ones that creep and crawl and slither and slime and gallop and hop and bound and climb. And don't forget to pack everyone's food." The storm was going to wash away all the hate and sadness and everything that had gone wrong and make the world clean again. God had thought up a way to keep Noah safe, but Noah would have to trust God and do exactly as God told him. So Noah built an ark, short for a very large boat. Noah's neighbors came out to watch and point and laugh because they didn't believe Noah about the boat or the storm or needing to be rescued. And Noah must have looked rather silly. His boat was in the desert. The desert was nowhere near the sea, and there wasn't even a cloud in the sky. Why would anyone need an umbrella, let alone a boat? And so here you can see the neighbors of Noah. And do you see how they're pointing and they're laughing and they're teasing Noah? But Noah doesn't mind. Look at that. He's up there building his ark, and the sky is clear. But Noah didn't mind so much what other people thought. He minded what God thought. So he just did what God told him to do. When the ark was ready, God said, "All aboard!" And Noah's family and all the animals climbed inside. Then God shut the door. And so here we have a picture of Noah and all of the animals in it. Can you see all those animals? All the different kinds of animals, all locked up, safe on the ark. Oh, I don't know here. I just noticed now. Can you see the lady, the snail? And there's even a spider. Can you see those? And it started raining for minutes that joined up into hours, that joined up into days, that joined up into weeks and weeks. And the rain joined up into puddles, that joined up into rivers, that joined up into lakes, that joined up into a flood that covered the whole world. Their boat had once seemed so big, suddenly seemed very small. But in the middle of the huge storm, in the crashing of the waves, in all of the thunder and lightning, through it all, God was with them. And God kept them safe for 40 long days and 40 long nights. Finally, the rain stopped. The sun came. Oh, I think I might have lost you there. I got a text, so let me start over on this page in case I lost you. It started raining for minutes. They joined up into hours. That joined up into days. That joined up into weeks and weeks. And the rain joined up into puddles. That joined up into rivers. That joined up into lakes. That joined up into a flood that covered the whole world. Their boat that had once seemed so big seemed very small. But in the middle of the huge storm, in the crashing of the waves, in all the thunder and lightning, through it all, God was with them. And God kept them safe for 40 long days and 40 long nights. Finally, the rain stopped. The sun came out, and Noah threw open the windows. Hooray! Everyone shouted. Noah sent his dove out to explore, and it wasn't long before she brought him back a fresh olive branch, or an olive leaf, excuse me. Everyone knew exactly what that meant. She had found a tree and land. The water was going down. right, here we go. Here's the stormy clouds. Oh, you can just hear that thunder and that lightning's crashing. And you can see the rain pouring down. And look, there are fish jumping in the sea. And there's the boat, the ark, floating safely on the crashing waves. At last, the boat landed quite suddenly on the top of a great mountain. And soon as it was safe, God said, "Out you come!" And so they did. Everyone skipping and dancing onto dry land. The first thing Noah did was to thank God for rescuing them, just as he promised. And the first thing God did was make another promise. I won't ever destroy the world again. And like a warrior who puts away his bow and arrow at the end of a great battle, God said, "See, I have hung up my bow in the clouds." And there in the clouds, just where the storm meets the sun, was a beautiful bow made of light. It was a new beginning of God's world. It wasn't long before everything went wrong again, but God wasn't surprised. He knew this would happen. That's why, before the beginning of time, he had another plan, a better plan, a plan not to destroy the world, but to rescue it, a plan to one day send his own son, the rescuer. God's stronger anger against hate and sadness and death would come down once more, but not on his people or his world. No, God's war bow was not pointing down at his people. It was pointing up into the heart of heaven. That concludes the story. Yeah, that's a wonderful story. We love the story of Noah because we know that God loves us. And so like I started yesterday, I started reminding each of you by name, that you are precious. And God says to you, I love you. And so Lucy, God loves you. And Anders and Ellis, Tegan, Nora, Amaya, God says, I love you. Mariah, Rachel, and Ryan, and Stephen, and Mike, God says, I treasure you. Ryan and Cody, Emma, Thomas, God says, you are mine. Well, we'll read more names tomorrow. But no, if I didn't read your name, if I didn't say your name today, I might say it tomorrow. But that doesn't mean that God doesn't love you. You are in God's hands, safe and always treasured and always loved. Again, it's Pastor Maureen Howard, Emmanuel Lutheran Church, Washington, Iowa. And I'll be with you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. You have a marvelous day, for God loves you. Bye-bye.